All right. Yeah, there we go. So, the day after Thanksgiving, right? The day after Thanksgiving, I think there's a lot of people out there right now that they're waking up in reflection. They're waking up in not exactly remorse, but probably, I ate too much food. Not to mention if they drank too on top of it, or like went totally overboard. But no, morning weight on the scale. I mean, I ate some food, that's for sure. I waited until, I had pretty small meals throughout, like just straight turkey breast with mustard, zero sugar ketchup. So, and not like turkey, like Thanksgiving dinner turkey. I'm talking like a Costco block where it's just, pretty much as straight up as you can get. And, then full on Thanksgiving dinner. But I didn't even go that crazy, because I'm kind of, I think this has to do with easing into the diet a little bit more, because I'm comfortable with my regular intake. So, I had a plate, and it wasn't even that wild. Probably 150 grams of carbs worth of mashed potatoes, net, with gravy, easily 50 grams of fats, and then probably about 80 grams of protein worth of turkey or so. Plus, I don't even know, probably 200, maybe 250 grams of carbs worth of like some pie and cookies and just kind of, regular sort of treats like that. But I counted everything. Like I didn't just, like I wasn't restricting myself either. Like this is kind of how I went about it. I didn't restrict, but I said, okay, I'm going to eat as much as I kind of want, and I'm going to count it, and I'm going to make sure it's all at least accounted for, so I can look back and see the damage, right? Like, look back and see the charges and say, holy crap, what did that all add up to? But let me see. Let's go back a day in the log. Yeah, so the last, my actual average over the last like 6 months has been probably like a 2,900. It's been kind of scaling down, but right around there. So yesterday was 4,427. So a little lower on protein. I only got 200 grams, and then 160 of fat. Let me get the actual number. 575 of carbs. Did I wake up 100 pounds heavier? Did I wake up? I've been 241, 242. Did I wake up at 250? No, not even. Only woke up at, it was, I had sipped on some water first before I got on the scale, so that kind of cheats it a little bit. Usually I'd say if you want real morning weight measurements, wake up, birthday suit, go to the bathroom, then get on the scale. That's a very repetitive time to weigh yourself. You don't have clothes, you haven't eaten any food, you haven't drank any water. It's very repeatable every day. So with a little bit of water, so I can count that as maybe a pound, 243. So that's all right. That's well within reason. So honestly, probably tomorrow I'll wake up at 241 just like normal. So it's kind of tricky to totally throw it off in one day, but this is something I'll hear, especially kind of bodybuilder dieting coaches talk about, because this is something that they really have to deal with, because they're actively watching their clients like update them with like, dude, Thanksgiving. I bet every freaking coach in the world, or at least most of them, all just got a bunch of texts. Dude, what do I do? It's Thanksgiving, man. Can I eat something? Can I have something, please? And, and they got to kind of figure out how to deal with that. But it's, as long as you don't go totally crazy overboard, a day is gonna be kind of feasible, right? But I'm probably a little extra carbed up, not like a ton, but probably a little bit. So I would expect that today's arm pump will be maybe just a little more, feel a little more energized than the last few, but not so much. So plan for today is stick to my regular macros like normal, and then Thanksgiving only counted as like a little bit of a blip refeed. Which every so often a refeed won't hurt you. The only problem with like talking about cheat days and talking about like macro counting and like how you could have McDonald's and still be dieting is people take that idea and they run with it, and I really don't like it. Like it's just It's just not awesome. It's like someone who's maybe awesome at some kind of class. They're a chemistry whiz, and they're like, yeah, dude, you don't have to study for these tests. I got it. Maybe for him he can, right? But take a cheat day, take a refeed day. Do not take it lightly. That's not something you can just be busting out of the regular. Like, if I have a crazy overeating cheat day this prep, I'll tell you about it. I'm not gonna lie about it like last time. Last prep I had like 3 over the course of the entire prep, or it was I mean, it was crazy. It was upwards of 8,000 each day. In between, I'm on track, my 2,500, 2,600 calorie, whatever. But I had 3 days where I went totally freaking wild like that, which I could kind of count as like my refeed days. But I think it was a few stages above what you'd call a real refeed. But this time I won't I won't just pretend I didn't do it. I'll actually bring it up. But so far, from beginning of diet to now, on track. I'll have some days that are a little higher, a little lower, but nothing like completely freaking egregious. So that's more than 100 days of dieting. And then yesterday, didn't really worry about it. That's a ratio that works. That level of consistent dieting here versus a day, this is going to win. 3 months of legitimate calorie deficit cannot be undone by one day. Even if yesterday I had 10,000 calories, I couldn't undo it in one day. But that's given I've already banked those 100 before. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to dieting, you can't. There's no loans. You can't take out credit on your diet. You can't just diet for 3 days and then say, all right, I'm due for a cheat day, bro. I'm due for a big refeed, man. I'm feeling flat. That's not going to work. Then you're just not even dieting. You're just telling yourself you're dieting and pretending, which is probably the worst case, because it's not even like it's not even like you're lying to the populace. You're lying to yourself by trying to convince yourself that what you're doing is working. But enough talk about Thanksgiving. I assume everyone either got after it or had like a bodybuilder Thanksgiving where it was just straight turkey and then they didn't have so many treats. But either way, I hope everyone's still on track with whatever their dieting goals may be. If you were bulking up, well, then you had some fun last night. That's for freaking sure. But either way, that's not my gym, not my cardio, not my circus, not my monkeys. That's for you to do and for me to do on my own. It's that's the parallel play aspect of things. But for the actual workout, no more of that. I feel like I've been rambling the same idea the last 30 minutes. Plan for today with arms. I'll have to see. I will have to see, because I don't know if I want to go too heavy. But I don't know if I kind of just have to see, right? Once I actually warm up and start doing a couple light curls and light push downs and some rotator cuff activators, that's what's going to tell me what kind of workout I'm sort of accustomed to for today, if you kind of catch what I'm saying. So if I come in and I feel like a beast, I grab the 30s and they feel like the 10s, I do a push down with like half the stack and it feels like nothing, well then I might go a little harder and really bring it. But, if I feel a little more on the fragile side, like not really fragile, but if I can tell I'm like, ooh, okay, I'm feeling that a little, or something, just something along those lines, well then I might make it a little bit more light squeezing. So we'll just have to see. But that's my training. Blue in the back, he's going to do something. He'll probably just end up freaking sleeping on his dog bed next to the Smith machine the whole time. But good for him. Good for him. He's on track too. He pretty much never cheats on his diet. He's good for 2 big scoops in the morning, 2 big scoops for dinner, and it keeps him about where he should be. But nothing else to say. Let's get started. Dieting, I am much more prone to buy it before I try it. So, I forget what the exact logic was before when we talk about triceps before biceps. Like, because it's a bigger muscle, you should do it first, or because it's got 3. I forget the logic. But when I'm dieting, I feel like I prefer biceps first, followed by push downs. One, just because I always do push downs first, or triceps first and then biceps. And I don't really want to superset it. So I'm going to do all bis, then all tris. And part of the subjective logic is if I finish my arm day with triceps, I feel like my arms are extra pumped because they're a larger muscle. Like, for me to have a bicep pump, it might not make them look so substantially large as to have a tricep pump. Because you got to think, if you're just standing here, well, your biceps are on the inside of your frame, or like your outline. So sure, they'll be bigger on the inside, but if I'm looking at myself in the mirror, like, I want to feel like I'm broader. So my triceps are fully pumped. It's just more fun to pose down at the end. But honestly, I doubt it's a huge difference either way. If you do triceps first or if you do biceps first, as long as you hit them both hard, there's nothing magic about doing one before the other. Just, do what you like. But I think I just realized my mic was off. So I'm going to say all of that again. Oh, shit. No, is it on? Fuck. Okay, now I got to check and make sure so I'm not paranoid. Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. But yeah, let's start with a light squeezing set of these preachers, and that will transition into burnout partials. But for the first 10, big burning hold, down, repeat. All right. All right. Two. Yeah. Two. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. One more. One more just like that. All right, come on. Okay. All right. Two. Yeah. All right, I lied. One more. And then let's move on to a dumbbell seated incline curl. Or recline curl, or, whichever makes more sense. Cool. Yeah. 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 Two. Poof. Poof. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's enough of that. I think I got my fill of preachers. So, an incline curl will be perfect. Still squeezing focus, though. So, I think that the 50s are going to be a little too much, so the 40s will do well. I want it to be heavy enough that I feel it, but still within a range that I can really hold and squeeze at the top. Because if I just wanted to do a nasty, heavy set of curls, well, then I'd do them standing up, alternating. I feel like the whole point of the incline curl, or the recline curl, or whatever, is the fact that, well, it's more of a controlled squeeze. But no more talking. Okay. Holy crap. One more of those. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think that's all that's necessary for buys. Let's move on. Get some push downs started. I already know what I want to start with. A little different than normal. I used to love these nearly every lift. So still light squeezing, but instead of starting with a rope, let's start with single arm D handle. So I still really like this because I can kind of, well, I don't want to say press just like a rope, because a rope is going to look like this, like down and out. But something about doing a single arm D handle instead of like an easy bar is I can get a ton more long head tricep squeezed at the bottom. So I feel like as I'm doing these reps, like when I get to the bottom, I'm not just pushing down and that's the end of it. Like I'm trying to feel like this action almost. Like push down and then also kind of like out with a twist, if you follow. So that, I mean, that might not work for you, but for me, doing that actually lets me feel a lot of long head. And I mean, if you're sitting here doing like a Mike Mentzer, like crucifix, your long head of your triceps is the part that's hanging down. All right, that's the part that's, you know, pretty much visible and big. I want it to grow. So that'll be good. So I'm gonna do 5 reps on each side, alternating, and just kind of go till failure. Okay, one more. Let's do the same thing, but a little heavier. Underestimated my strength. So 120 this time instead of 100 that time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think just those two will be good. Let's pick something else. What exactly it'll be? Let me think about it. Just a basic heavy push down on the pullover in reverse should work very well. So, a very good kind of counter of movements. So, decently light, very squeeze focused push downs over there. So, you know, it's not even like I'm sitting here thinking, okay, a light squeezing set is going to activate so-and-so cable or so-and-so fiber, and now a heavy set is going to activate a different fiber. You know, it's more so I want to just change it up because I know that always results in a badass lift, pump, overall feeling, right? It's a yin and yang, right? The tide goes out, the tide goes in, a light heavy or a light squeezing set, a heavier brutish set. You know, it all kind of plays into feng shui, or into the feng shui, what am I saying? The feng shui of a good pump. But let's get started. All right. Okay. Yeah. 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 Oh. Whew. Oof. Yeah. One more of those. One more of those, then we'll grab something else. Ah. Oh, yes. Good boy. Go, big old blue. Ha 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 ha. Mwah. All right, go on. Okay. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. Let's do a basic push down. I think a basic push down would be an awesome finisher. Nothing special, and it's straight up. All right, so this will be kind of a two-parter. So heavy push downs, failure, burnout, straight up. And then I'm gonna drop the weight in like half, throw the cable down, and just do a couple curls to finish. Do I think it's gonna give me any more substantial bicep stimulation? Maybe a little. More so, I just want my biceps a little more pumped before the pose down. But let's get real. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's freaking pose down. All done. At least with a lift. I've started a cardio, but you know, that's its own thing. All right, I'm gonna have to cut it out with the freaking natural light pose down because it's gonna be too freaking cold. Even now, this is like, well, let's just say brisk, but let's see how we're looking. So, not the craziest back, or what am I saying, back day. arm day ever. And what was that volume? 3 sets of preachers, 2 sets of push downs, 2 sets of push downs, 1 set of, so only 5 sets for triceps. Hey man, I don't think that the criteria of a good lift is purely set based. I think it's more so what those sets all kind of added up to cumulatively. But let's just not talk about it and see how we're looking. Oh my gosh. Yeah, holding those vacuums is getting trickier. Actually, no, it's getting easier and easier, but it's still tricky. But I'd say all that added up to a pretty gosh dang good arm pump. And I'm excited to see that back double by shot on the computer screen when I get home. But until then, I'm gonna go do 30 minutes on the bike, and then I'll see you in the car. There we go. Okay. You got all that? Nah, but what I was saying was I haven't eaten much today because I had a pre-workout meal and then worked out. Mark rolled up to the gym, so they worked out after me, so I stayed and kind of set my computer up and got all the Wi-Fi connected and everything, and then threw away some trash and boxed it. And then now it's 5:30, so I've got some calories left for a big, well, essentially just a big dinner. Now, this is a little bit more extreme than I would normally do on purpose, but I think that's a pretty good angle, you know. Tell me if you disagree with this, right? Because I'm pretty sure you won't. Is it easier, or, well, I guess let me preface it the right way. It's easier to skip breakfast than it is to skip dinner, right? Would we agree with that? Honestly, I barely ever wake up and I'm instantly like, oh, I gotta eat something. No, man. You know, you're in a fasted state. You've been sitting, you know, for hopefully 8 hours that night in a rest and recovery mode. Now you wake up. I wake up thirsty, but I don't really wake up super hungry. So for me to wait to, I don't want to say break my fast, because I'm not intentionally like fasting. Like that's not what I'm saying that I'm doing. I'm just waiting until later to start eating, which I know is fasting, but you know, whatever. So, you know, if I wait till 11 o'clock or noon for meal number 1, I mean, now instead of having an eating window from like 8 o'clock till whenever I go to bed, now it's from like noon until whenever I go to bed. So a 4-hour delay, which might not seem like a lot, but you know, if you're tracking your calories, it really is. I mean, you can do a lot of damage in a couple hours. You can do a lot of damage in a couple of minutes. Like just going into the pantry, just a couple of little grabs, couple of little snacks here and there. You don't really think about it as anything. You know, I think that the average person doesn't even think about any caloric value when they, oh, man, a bowl of M&Ms in the kitchen. And I'm not saying they have to. I'm just saying that thought doesn't really cross people's minds. So, you know, it's a kind of a classic realization when someone actually tracks all their calories for the day. If they really do it, almost every time, or at least a good chunk of the time, they're going to say, I didn't know I was eating that much. Right? Because we don't have a good gauge for it. You know, like I know how many pounds a pound weighs, but when we're talking kilograms, I don't know. I don't have such a good, you know, experience of how much that really is. You know, so with calories, if you're not used to like what 3,000 calories looks like over the course of a day, then it might be a little bit jarring to actually kind of see it. It's like you're unplugged, now you're in the real world, and is it Zion? That's like the last uprising of the, well, a little Matrix reference, but it's like, oh shit, I didn't know I was eating that much crap. And the fact that that's how people react to counting their calories, I think is kind of does a disservice, because now we've got people who don't count their calories, they don't care about their diet, like they want to eat the foods that they want to eat because it makes them feel good. It's a very safe. I mean, feel good foods are very comforting. Dopamine release. I'm not going to argue against that, of course. But now there's like a counter argument to counting your calories, because people are going to say, well, I don't want to look at food like numbers. I don't, I want to enjoy my food. I don't want to think about the numbers of it. And, ignorance is bliss. The actual act of slamming, some spicy chickens or a caniac or like a hot chicken takeover or whatever, in the moment it feels pretty freaking good, that's for sure. And if you don't, think about the repercussions, not that it's like, like breaking the law, but just gradually, gaining body fat. If you have a diet, or if you take someone and they have a diet that's primarily like only processed carbs, tons of fats, no protein at all, and then you combine that with like no working out and just regular, like, I don't want to say sedentary, but not a very active lifestyle, I think that can really set you back. Like, I'm not trying to hate, and of course it's not like I'm saying you can never eat processed foods. That's not exactly my point there, because of course I do, but that combo is not great. And if you're only eating foods that make you feel good, that's kind of what you're set up for. It's just kind of how it is. Like, if I'm trying to maximize my dopamine release in my mind, you don't think about it like that, but that's what's going on. Well, shit, man. Give me 5 king-size Reese's cups. Give me a 2-pound of gummy worms, or a 2-pound bag of gummy worms, and give me 2 vanilla milkshakes, or whatever, things like that. Those are very feel-good foods. Shit. Even just listing all those off, my mouth just started watering a little bit, because I'm thinking about it. Even thinking about it is like getting me excited about it. But it's kind of like taking control of your own wheel and thinking, okay, I have 2 contrasting desires, right? 2 contrasting wants that are at war with each other, in a way. So that is, I want to be in a certain shape, whether it's bulked, whether it's cut, whether it's, just not even about muscle, just getting a little bit skinnier, losing some body fat, or whatever. I want this physical result, which would mean dieting is involved, cardio is involved, hopefully working out is involved pretty heavily. That's going to make that situation as good as it can get. And then the other side of that is essentially, I want to chill and I want to eat whatever I want because I want to. Makes me feel good. I don't want to worry. I don't want worries. I want to chill. I want to get the crumble this week, or I want. Oh, shit. How many people do you think eat crumble every day? And I'm not talking about like just a mini crumble, or they know someone that works there and they like just go chat for a second, like get a water. Oh man. It's great. Someone who works at Crumble, like because every company like that has all these analytics where they have teams that are looking. They know. Someone out there, I don't think they're hearing me say this question, but someone has the data on how many Americans individually, and who they are, eat crumble every day. Like, get a full 6-pack of crumble every single day. That's, and shit, if that makes you happy, well, who am I to judge, right? Whatever. But, it's those two things they're all, back and forth. So for me, I get a little bit of a best of both worlds, because when I bulk, and when I cut. So I kind of get my fill of each, back and forth, kind of riding the wave in and out. So, I mean, shit, I got my fill of a good amount of treats earlier this year. Now it's a little easier for me to lock in because, for one, I already had a ton of them and I almost got sick of them. And I also know once I'm done dieting down and I want to put size on, that's a bunch of treats for me, So it's just a back and forth. So right now the treat is getting leaner, and of course, like, getting ready for a bodybuilding show, but just being leaner, seeing all these cuts, like, essentially seeing the progress that I've built up this whole time revealed, right? That's the treat. And in a year, well, not a year, what am I saying? In 8 months or however many months, the treat is going to be for real treats. I get to eat a bunch of food, and the workouts are just like more fun because you're super fucking carved up and high energy. Like, I know I don't work out for 2 hours, but full bulk, I think I could and I would enjoy it, So that's a good feeling too. So I think the cheat code is, no matter what situation you're in, if you're trying to bulk up and eating the food is hard, or if you're trying to diet down and restricting yourself is the challenge, just find the thing that you're working for and put a lot of value on that. Get excited about that. And don't complain about the cost to get there. Guys who diet and they say, oh God, I hate this diet. Oh, blah, blah, I got this coach and he's telling me to do all these things. Oh, I just want to eat whatever. If you want to eat whatever you want, then do it. No one's forcing you. There's no rule. That's something I've never really got. It's like this self-depreciation as like a weird self-soothing behavior where, okay, I'm dieting. It's really hard. I want to talk about how hard it is and complain how hard it is. Woe is me. Even though you're dieting on purpose because you wanted to. I'm not saying it's easy, but to sit here and repeat to yourself, oh, this sucks, I hate this is hard, that's no fun. I have never done something that I was really excited about and wanted to enjoy and look back on and look forward to and thought, oh my God, I hate this. Oh. So I try not to do that. As much as even right now I'm feeling like hungry on a baseline. Like when I'm dieting, I'm hungrier than I'm not hungry on average. That's like the whole point. But I'm not sitting here whining to myself because sure, it's objectively difficult. That's why nobody diets, at least, not in a really large scale. So, whatever. Right? It's just how it is. It's going to take what it takes. So my thing is I'm always trying not to maximize my challenge that I want to overcome, and just, do it. Right? Don't talk about it. Don't say you're going to do it. Just do it. That's not an intentional plug of that phrase, of course, but that's all there is to it, And to whine and like to complain, not to other people, but like to yourself. You're training your mind to think like that, and the same thing with working out. One workout doesn't amount to much. 2 workouts don't amount to much. But if you constantly repeat the same phrases and the same ideas in your mind every day, that's going to become your reality. You take 2 guys, both live the exact same life. You may as well clone the freaking world in 2 simulations. And one dude is always walking around, and his inner mantra is, man, I got good luck today. And then the other guy is like, oh crap, I got bad luck today. That guy is going to see every negative thing that ever happens and think, fuck, it's because I got bad luck. This guy is going to think every good thing that happens is because he's got good luck, and then be even happier about it. And anytime something bad happens, he's like, well, I got so much good luck, I guess this balances out, or stuff like that. So I think I can't be the only one who would think I'd rather be this dude here than this guy, downer, bad luck kind of dude over there. So that makes a lot of sense in my mind, how I'm like thinking about it. But if I didn't portray it, we get the gist. Either way, that was a really good arm day. Lower volume, but I think the intensity was there, especially with the lighter squeezing sets too for buys. Like those were. This will be my last thing, but this is something that always gets brought up about the stimulus, like what truly stimulates growth. And we're always everybody's always bringing up mechanical tension, the stretched position. But I think there's, and in doing so, it's kind of putting hate on the squeeze. Dude, I feel like I get a ton of stimulation out of the actual squeezing component of a rep. Doing a set of curls exactly like the guy next to me, but if at the top you have an extra little moment of oomph, sure, one set might not do much, but if every set that you do, you give it a little bit extra at the top, or if it's a squeeze or a leg extension or a hamstring curl or whatever, those two patterns will begin to diverge, and one guy is going to get ahead just a little more because he's in it with every rep. But I think that'll finish my Black Friday ramble. So sorry about the late video. I didn't mean to lift so late today. But yeah, I will see you for a Q&A tomorrow. I made a Q&A post, so it's on the YouTube channel. Like if you just look up like the Sam Sulek YouTube channel, and then click posts, it's right there. So I'm gonna scan through. There's only ever like 1,000 comments, so I'll pick like 50 or maybe 30 or something for the video, but I'll work my way through and actually respond to a lot of them. So I'll just I guess that's what I'll be doing later, just kind of playing my phone, swiping through all those, and at least the ones that aren't like just totally straight up trolling. But yeah, that's all I got. So I am ready for some food, and I will see you tomorrow.